So Annie is in Manchester. This magical, like I say, sensational Broadway musical film. We've all seen it. We've all loved it. However, it's now in Manchester, and of course, starring Craig Revel Horwood. Today, I am joined by Mr. Warbucks himself, Alex Bourne, aka Daddy Warbucks. Alex, welcome to Backstage with Billy. Tell us about who is Mr. Warbucks.
Mr. Warbucks. Well, I mean, the show is sort of set in 1933, and it's just after the big crash they had in 29, but this guy, Oliver Warbucks, he's the richest man in the world, and he's a self-made billionaire, and that's in the 30s, So he's just spent his whole life, and we say in the show, he was orphaned at 10, and he just had one vision to become very rich, and he just worked his butt off, for his whole life to build up his companies and just become the richest man in the world. And he's just been focused on that basically his whole life. And it's just work and money, work and money. He's got no time for anything else. And then suddenly, as a PR stunt, as it were, his secretary, Grace Farrell, just suggests to him that he invites an orphan from the local municipal orphanage to come and spend Christmas with him at the mansion. We'll get some pictures for the press, it'll make you look great. Everyone will think you're fabulous. So he says, great, go along with that. He's thinking it's going to be a boy because he was an orphan. He thinks orphans are boys. But suddenly Grace brings along this little girl called Annie, and quite quickly, really, he just starts to see the world through her eyes and becomes very fond of her, and they both become very fond of each other. And suddenly, instead of just being work, money, he starts to go out and have fun with her and take her all over New York, and they just become incredibly close. And so she believes, because when she was left at the orphanage, she believes she's a foundling, really, not an orphan, because she believes her parents are still alive. This is the whole crux of the story. Her parents left her with a silver locket and a note saying that one day they would come back and get her. So she lives in hope that one day her parents are going to come back and take her, and she'll live happily ever after with her real parents. So Mr. Warbucks decides to do all he can using his power and influence to try and find the parents. And that's where the story goes. But obviously, I don't want to spoil the story for those that haven't seen Annie. But lots of things go on. But that's basically where we're at with that. Yes.
Obviously, there's some amazing songs, from The Hard Knock Life with the Orphans when they perform this at the very beginning. It is just phenomenal. It sets you up for the show. Yeah. Being in the audience, watching this the other night, I mean, the crowd just went mental. What you hear on the stage compared to what we hear, I mean, I don't know what exactly you hear, but everyone was going mental, both young, old, pensioners, you name it. Everyone's going mental. You've got easy streets, you've got little girls. I'm going to come back to that. NYC tomorrow, you can't, never fully dressed without a smile. Now, obviously, it stars, Craig Revel Horwood. Now, going back about little girls, Craig Revel Horwood has scarred me. Coming out in that outfit, saggy tights. I know I'm probably spoiling here, but you have to see this. I'm absolutely scarred. I was just like, oh no, I'm never getting married.
Is this because you found him slightly attractive? Is that what's scarring you?
I think the word was terrifying. I was going terrified, but nevertheless, this obviously show is just great. I mean, it's great for all ages. I mean, obviously the rest of the ensemble cast as well, they were just phenomenal. And obviously they tend never really to get much of a mention, but nevertheless, the whole show is just, just amazing. And I fell in love with it. I've seen the film, we've all seen the film. It's always on at Christmas. Annie does have a Christmas feel, doesn't it, to it?
Well, and it's crazy that the tour is ending at the end of November and we're not doing it at Christmas, which is crackers.
It's not over yet. They might ask you to extend.
Hey, there you go.
That has happened. No, I mean, let's just talk about you a little bit. I mean, you're I mean, your credits, they're like a shopping list, aren't they? From Hairspray, Mamma Mia, Chicago. The list is endless. You've even done the same film as me, which is Cinderella. Yeah. Yeah, you were the shop owner, weren't you?
I was, yeah. Were you in the one with Camila Cabello?
I was, yeah. I was an extra at Blackpool Tower Ballroom. One of the many blurs in the background. But obviously watching the performance, because obviously they had the main dancers in the front of you, and it went on for days. But when you see it on the television, it's only on for like 20 minutes, but it went on for days.
Yeah,
that was the joy of being a TV extra. But anyway, that's our claim to fame. We've got something together now, so there we go.
Film, yay, that's great.
I mean, clearly you got a far better part than what I did. But obviously, this main show, let's talk about the show. This main show, and it is in Manchester. It's in, obviously, till the 30th of September. It's at the Opera House in Manchester. Grab your tickets. Obviously, come along, see Alex live on stage, getting his head kissed every night.
That's traumatic. But I tell you, this show, you know, I was in the original version of this 8 years ago, and I've done it a lot over the years, and I think this is the best cast we've ever had. Everybody wants to be here, and it's really, really strong. And the thing is, I don't come on for like 30 minutes, so I always come down and watch the kids do Hard Knock Life and watch Annie do Tomorrow. I like to gauge how the audience are, you know. So I'm always in the wings for that. So I know exactly what you mean when they finish Hard Knock Life and the place just explodes. Because the songs are great, the sound is so good, and the lighting and the whole thing, you know, it's magic. It just works so well, and I love to see the kids getting that massive round of applause and cheers, and then I know that the audience are really up for it. So by the time I come on, the story's really taken off at that point, you know.
And of course, we've got to give Sandy the dog a mention, because obviously he keeps appearing every now and again. I've got to be honest with you, one of the little girls, I'm just going through the book here. I should have prepped this. Is it Karen?
Karen.
Yeah.
Ollie.
She is just so adorable. I mean, little show stealer. Obviously, she regularly pops up on the show. I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to spoil it. But she is a scene stealer. Even the way she reacts. Yeah,
she's very, very intelligent girl. You know, I love it when we're doing warm up. You know, all the kids stand around the piano and we're behind them, you know, doing our little warm ups and stuff like that. But she's always facing us and looking. She's just looking at people all the time, just taking in things, and she's hilarious. She really is hilarious.
Well, she melted my heart along with the dog. I mean, obviously, Craig Revel Horwood has completely scarred me in that outfit. But nevertheless, you've got to see it because the outfit is shockingly horrific, but it's magical. It's so funny. I mean, I've got to mention as well, obviously, Craig is only doing Monday to Friday. Jodie Preller, obviously better known from Coronation Street now. I mean, I've known Jodie for, you know, I mean, known of Jodie, I should say, for many years in her background in musical theatre. But obviously, she's going to be stepping into the weekend roles. And of course, this amazing show is in Manchester till the 30th. Grab your tickets, atgtickets.com, and in the musical, starring this young man here, looking fabulous every night. Amazing outfits, by the way. And of course, singing your heart out to these memorable songs that we all love. And of course, they're timeless, and we just love them. So, Alex, I know you're a very busy man, so I'm going to love you and leave you from there. And thank you very much for joining me on Backstage with Billy.
Pleasure, mate. All the best. Take care.